Get ready for a oh, taste and see. There's a word for you and me.
Serving the uncompromising truth makes us truly free.
Open your heart, your mind, your soul. He'll make you whole.
Preaching with power.
It's the relevant leadership strategist.
A little time to get caught up with going live right on time, but prayerfully this stream will catch up with the internet and you'll get a chance to enjoy these high schoolers. Man, they're like super bright. I mean, they're just super bright, and we're so excited about their future and what they got planned for their life and what God has planned for their life as well. Big things. You can hear it just based upon their dialogue and how they speak to certain issues. So what we've done is we've taken an opportunity to make available and ready a platform for different age groups. So on Mondays at 9, we have our millennials. We call it Millennial Monday. But the theme of the title is Millennial Ministry and Mess. Then on Tuesdays at 12, it's our college babies. So it's college, COVID, and Christianity. And then on Wednesdays, we attempt to bring on our high school babies. I say all of my babies, by the way, and that's at 12. We've been going at it now for a month. So for a whole month, we've been just having dialogue and conversations on topics that concern them, talking to them, about them, for them, and then they get an opportunity to just minister to their generation. Such an amazing moment, amazing time, and they give such great insight. So here's what I want you to do. Parents, if you have a high schooler that's on Facebook, tag them right now. Tag them like right now. Get them in on this conversation or share it on their page. And also, not just tag them, go ahead and share it. Because I believe that I know that they're bright, and maybe there's some things that you would like to say to your kids that you can't. And these babies will be able to kind of speak to issues, give truth to power that others may not. Literally, I've gotten inboxes after each one of our shows, and I remember one of the inboxes in particular, and they said that they were trying to get their high schooler to understand a concept. One of the things we were talking about, I won't make mention of the concept, those kind of things, but they were trying to get their high schooler to understand a certain concept, could not get through to them. Well, when these 3 and 4, how many have we had at that point, were talking about that particular concept, giving their insight with it, well, the high schooler got it. I mean, just like it popped up in her head, like, yeah, that's it. And so the mama inboxed me and said, thank you for having a platform, because I couldn't get her to see it. But her listening to these young people her age got her to see it. I didn't even tell them yet that they are helping their generation develop and grow. And so that's why we're continuing to do it. That's why we've been at it now for about a month, and look like we'll be back at it again next week. So it'll be a month and a week. Hey, Span, how are you? Glad to have you on. Do me a favor, Span, share this video. Just go ahead and share it right now. So I'm getting ready to bring up my panel, and we're going to have some dialogue and discussion. Well, as you can see, I got on my shirt today. Before I bring them up. Got on my shirt because it is my wife and I 20th wedding anniversary. we've been married for 20 years, longer than some of these folk been old. We've been married for 20 years today. So June 10th is the day we said I do. And man, I am certainly glad that I did 20 years ago. Now, we were married for 20 years, but we've been together for almost 27 years. And so it's 27 together, 20 married, and counting. We can't wait for what's going to happen on the back end of this. Thank you, Span, for tagging some folks. So let me bring some of them in. Here is a product. Thank you, Peterson. Here's a product. Kobe Collins. Man, that's been a minute since we've seen one another. Thank you, sir. It has been, here's one of the products, rather, of that marital bliss. She is my baby girl. Well, my wife's baby girl, too, but she's really my baby girl. I lend her to my wife for her to feel like she has something to do with this, but she didn't. It's mine. So we'll bring her on up. Z, how are you, girl?
Hey,
You good?
I'm good.
All right. So for the people who may not know you, or maybe this is their first time on our live broadcast, introduce yourself. Tell them what grade you're in. And at this point, you kind of got your eye towards college. So tell them the kind of the colleges you want to go to and the major you're thinking about. So who you are, the grade you're in, and your college of choice or choices of college, and then the major. Got it?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, guys. My name is Zion Brown, and I'm a rising junior at Marlboro County High School. And a college that I'm looking at is Medical University of South Carolina, which is located in Charleston. And my major would be neuroscience.
All right. And so that's the only college you're looking at, just that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Listen to me, Charleston. My baby is on her way there. All right. I'll just leave it at that. So we got her, and we got some testosterone of the group. It's my man. We call him DJ. I think there's another name he had, Dex. He go by a whole heap of names, but he is a football guru. This boy is going to be playing on Sunday mornings, which means he's have to get church Sunday evening, so he has to go back and watch the replay because he better be in church even after Sunday, after the game. I don't want to hear no mess. I'm going to come up there and to the Raiders, because that's where he's going to play. I'm fly to Las Vegas and beat him with a wet noodle. DJ,
how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm good.
Good. So the same question that I asked Zion, just in case people haven't been here and don't know you, give them your name, the what grade you're going up towards, the college that you're looking at, and the major.
Sir, my name is DJ McCray. I'm a rising junior. I go to Trinity Burns, and the two colleges I'm looking at right now is USC and Florida State. And if football doesn't work out, I want to major in business or biology.
Biology, really?
Sir.
All right, cool. We know football's gonna work out. Like I said, you'll be playing for the Las Vegas Raiders and getting me season passes so I can just fly in the skybox and watch the game. And Jesus, I speak it now. Receive it, son. It's on the way. Now we also have another young lady, brilliant young lady, blogger, activist in her own right, business guru. She'll probably be a millionaire before she's 21 or so. Plus, she plays ball, so she's a basketballer, and she dunks. Listen, the girl got hops. She tore the goal down like she was Shaq. Now I'm exaggerating a little, but I know it's going to happen. So, Des, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very, very good. Thank you for being a part of this panel. So just in case people don't know you, this is their first time on our live. Same thing I've asked the other two. Give them your name, the grade that you're rising up to, college or colleges that you're looking at, and major.
Okay, so my name's Destiny Benjamin. I'm a rising senior at the Governor School for Science and Math. My top three colleges are Duke, Howard, and NYU, and I plan to major in English to prepare for law school.
English to prepare for, yeah, I could see you being a lawyer. I can see that. I can see that working. All right, so there you have it to the viewing audience. Here is our panel, Zion, DJ, and Destiny. Couple of things. If you'd like to ask them a question or us a question, me a question, if you put it in the inbox, well, not the inbox, I won't be able to check that, but if you put it in the comments, we'll do our best to grab that question and answer it right here live. They're smart enough, bright enough, and quick enough that they can answer questions on the spot. They'll also have an opportunity to ask me questions as we go along, and I have a couple of questions that I'll be asking them or asking of them. And so again, this is about hot topics surrounding our world that affects them and giving them a voice to speak truth to that power or power to that truth, or just expressing how they feel, in moments. Many times they don't have a lot of opportunities to express how they feel, and we want to be able to give them that opportunity. So having said that, do you guys have anything that you'd like to ask first before I start throwing out any questions? Okay, so the two girls said no, and Dexter, DJ, will probably be jumping back on. And yep, there he is. There he is right there. All right, DJ, I asked, was there any question you'd like to ask me before we get started?
No, sir.
Okay, good. All right, so here's the first thing that I want to ask. We were talking with the last group, our millennials, as well as the college kids, the college COVID and Christianity group. And one of the things that we broached, we went a little more in depth with the college kids than we did with the millennials, but I want to ask you this question as well. And it's about color and race. And so there's this thought about there being no color, there being no race, that we are all one in a sense, but one where it relates to there being no color, like everything is just colorblind. What's your thoughts about that? What's your thoughts about there being no color and, things being colorblind?
I don't really agree with that statement because, okay, technically, yes, we're all the human race, but I feel like if you eliminate color or choose to not see someone's color, then that's kind of like you're choosing not to see their culture because everyone has a different race. So that comes with different backgrounds. You were raised differently. And so when you factor in, I guess, their cultures and everything, everyone's going to act differently. So I feel like by ignoring their color, their race, you're also ignoring their culture.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick back up on what Destiny says. It's kind of like, if we didn't have color, everybody would be the same. Like everything would be the same. Music would be the same. Church would be the same. Like it wouldn't be different, and the world wouldn't be, as exciting. Because when you have different cultures, you have different things to look for. But like I said, if everything's the same, it's not going to be diverse how it is now. So I don't agree with that, like Destiny said.
Picking up what my panel said, different is good. So God didn't make everybody the same. That's kind of good because nobody wants to be all brown, nobody wants to be all white because that'll be boring. So I think that being like all together is it'll be weird. Like everybody all black or everybody all white. So I kind of like that everybody is different and everybody has different cultures, different religions, different this, because we all come together and kind of learn from each other and learn like our perspective of life. So yeah.
So I remember watching a new Disney movie. I don't know if it's Disney or not. Every cartoon movie come out, you ascribe it to Disney. I don't know if Disney made it, Pixar, I don't know. But it was Trolls. I don't know if any of you all had a chance to watch it. I know Zion did. But it was like the Trolls musical, something or another. Oh, well, maybe I should have said that you watched it. You don't want people to know you watched Trolls. Well, I mean, it was just a cool movie. I mean, really cool. Did you guys watch it, DJ? Did you see it? Did you see it, Destiny? Oh my God, y'all didn't see it? Yeah, Zion and I saw it. We rented it and played it on the big screen. So in this, you want to tell it, Z, or should I tell it? Okay. All right. She said for me to tell it. So in this movie, this little cartoon, this animated cartoon, there were this group of trolls who all sung. So if you ever saw the very first Trolls movie, you know that they do a lot of singing. Well, what they found out was they weren't the only group of trolls that sung. That there were other trolls who didn't necessarily look like them, but they were still trolls, and but they all had different loves for music. And so the trolls that we initially saw were the pop trolls. They sung all the pop songs, and they found out that it wasn't just pop music that was in the world. There were other musical people in the world. There was hard rock, which in this case was the villain. And I might need to think about that movie now because hard rock was all black and black was the villain, but we'll get to that in just a minute. And then there was jazz, there was classical music, there was country music. I mean, they just had so many different other genres of music. And the pop music trolls, they were attempting to make everybody like pop music. So they were going around saying, you should like pop music. Pop music is the best. And then every other culture was like, no, our music is the best. But hard rock was like, no, I'm going to knock all y'all out and make everybody a rocker. And I'll never forget at the end of the movie, I'm telling it now, I guess, but at the end of the movie, everybody was just kind of the same. There was no color in the movie, and it just was bland. I mean, it had no. It was, as I think Zion said, and the rest of you all said, it was just completely bland, nothing there, until they began to realize that our differences in our musical genre actually brought color to the world. But when we wanted when we only wanted one musical genre, it just kind of made everything bland. So in saying that, have you ever felt like you could not be all of your culture, all of your blackness? I was listening now that the black movement, the black power movement, Black Lives Matter movement, all those things are kind of moving forward. People are coming up with songs and poems and all. And I was listening to a poem some girl wrote. It was a little funny. I mean, I chuckled at it, but it's been playing in my head. And she said, "I'm black. I'm blackity black." Right? So have you ever dealt with feeling like I don't need to be like black, I'd rather be another color? And if you felt like that, why? If you've not felt like that, why? Anybody jump in? All right, you muted and then you unmuted. Unmuted yourself, then you muted yourself back, Zion.
Okay.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. A stereotypical black woman is like always having an attitude and always loud, and like always having like the craziest hairstyles. So I would tell mama like I don't want this in my hair because I would be like judged as a stereotypical black girl, or I wouldn't really voice my opinion in class because whenever I would voice my opinion, they'll be like, "You are loud," like because I talk loud. I mean, yeah. So like they would be like, "You're so loud," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And so I just wouldn't talk. If I would get mad, I would try to fix myself up because I wouldn't want to be perceived as like an angry black girl or angry black woman because that's how black women are perceived. So like I would try to fix myself up or like just ignore the problem because I don't want to be perceived as that. But like later on, like I just realized, that's just how we. It's not like how we. It's not stereotypical. So like, I just learned to accept like who I am because black is beautiful. So I'm really not ashamed of it now. So melanin is perfect. So yeah.
I have to say, I would never really like struggle with not wanting to be black, because me, like, I've always been like a go black type of person, like Black Lives Matter type of guy, because like I like history. That's my favorite subject, so I like to study like slavery and my ancestors, and like I feel like our generation, it's important to do great for our ancestors and like keep their legacy going. So like that's why I think it's important to like embrace being black, and it's like it's not a problem being black. Like, it's great being black. Not downgrading any other races, but being like people, like all the stuff that's going on right now, like all the people dying just for like no reason. Like I feel like it's our job to like stand up for people that can't stand up and voice their opinion. So I never really had a problem like not wanting to be black, because like Zion said, black really is beautiful. So
For me, when I was younger, I had a lot of trouble, I guess, accepting being black. And it had a lot to do with the school I was attending, because I was, like I said in the last slide, I was the only black girl. And so I got a lot of like backwards comments that kind of made me not really, not be confident in my skin. And so as I got older, I learned to accept that. And so now, of course, I embrace my blackness. But I feel like in certain situations, especially at the school I'm at now, where there's not as many black people, I find myself like toning down my personality. I kind of feel like I have to show the intelligent side of me more and not be as laid back all the time, kind of like in fear of being called ghetto or, like Zion said, loud or anything like that. And so I'm still like trying to do better in that area, but overall, of course, I accept my blackness and I'm very proud to be black.
Okay, so now I got another question. It's almost in the same realm, but you always spark the thought. So why is it that when we think about loud or boisterous, we think ghetto and black, but when we think proper English and intelligence, we think white? You know what I mean? So if I'm loud and boisterous, that's always usually ascribed to someone being black. If I'm intelligent and reserved, then that's always ascribed to someone being white. Have you ever kind of thought about why that is? Why does it seem like there's that kind of division and immediate thought? Because each one of you said, I kind of pull back so that I'm not connected to a stereotypical black man, black woman. But why is that considered stereotypical black man, black woman? You ever kind of thought through that?
that's a great question. I was just watching a video about what you just asked, and if you go back in history, and back in Africa, black people were always loud. Like they were always dancing and stuff. Like that's just how like black people are. And like back in like the 1950s and 60s, like black people were doing things to make it like a stereotype. Like we would always get in trouble, fighting, shooting, killing and stuff. It's always been like starting from black people. I think that's where it comes from back in history. If you look at it, and white people like they've always been like laid back people, and just like it's hard to explain it, but they've like white people are like, I can't explain it, but it's just like white people, like they don't really like, I can't explain it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to put it into words. It's just like white people, like they're like they focus more on like businesses and stuff like that, and just I can't explain it. I'm sorry, I can't explain it. But if you just go back and look at history, like black people have always been like stereotyped as being loud.
Got it. And you're doing a great job explaining, son. Don't ever pull back. Remember, this platform is safe for you. And if anyone ever tries to come for you, they got to come through me, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to come see me. So you're fine to speak just how you need to speak and whatever you'd like to say. I got your back. I promise you that. So one of you other ladies, hop on in.
Going off of what DJ said, a lot of the stereotypes around Black people comes from, you know, slavery and us being perceived as inferior. So even back then, we weren't allowed to read or write or anything like that. So of course, white people would be automatically more intelligent than us. So and then that's kind of like generational, because if your parents can't read or write, then of course it's going to be harder for you to learn how to read or write. And so, and then even now with the stereotypes, of course, of being loud and all that stuff, with how DJ said white people are more like geared towards, I guess, business and all that stuff. I feel like, you know, we were talking about last night on my family's live that it seems like every race has their like field that they specialize in. So like white people are probably more likely to go into politics or business, and Black people dominate the entertainment area. And that area or field, of course, is more, you have to have a more, I guess, bold personality. So maybe that's where the stereotypes come from.
Well, I kind of came to the conclusion, like listening to all of them, well, listen to DJ and Destiny, and like looking at what's going on in the Black community. Like the only reason why, you know, our Black people are loud is because we were never heard. Like you would see us being killed and stuff, and we would be like, "Hey, listen, stop killing us," and you know, you would still continue, like cops and everybody would still continue to kill us. So it's just like, I'm loud because you cannot hear me, and I'm trying to scream because, you know, I'm trying to get you to understand. You know, I need you to understand where I'm coming from. So like, I just always thought that because we were loud, we were just never heard.
Wow, that's a concept. That I don't even know if I ever thought that angle. So you believe that our loudness is based upon the fact that we've just never been heard, and so because we've not been heard, we scream loud or scream louder. Destiny and DJ rode the train that said generationally we've kind of been placed in certain precarious positions, which left us in levels of deficit that others were never left in. I mean, just amazing. But you know, I was, and I've said this a couple of times before. Pastor Wilson says it often, and I get a good bit of it from him. But it is definitely systemic that everything that is Black is always wrong, and everything that is white seems to be always right. Now, and I also make the point that when we talk about white, you know, this is white. That's white. Yeah, anybody that looks like this, probably not human. You know what I mean? Or something's wrong. They're sick. So they're not really even white, as you would say white. I mean, I get where you get the concept from. You know, God is the white one, pure in its sense, light white. But Jesus, of course, is the Black one. But I won't go there right now. So they're not really white. For me, it's more like vanilla. so they're vanilla. But everything Black, wrong. Everything white, right. So for years, that's been ingrained in us. Once we were hijacked from our culture, as DJ talked about, you know, in Africa, we were businessmen and businesswomen. I mean, literally, if you really study a little deeper and dig through, you're going to have to dig because they're going to cover a lot of those things up. We were the ones building pyramids and majoring in architecture, understanding Pythagorean theorems and knowing how slope and intercept. I mean, that was Black people. Whites didn't do that. Black people did that. So we had a business acumen. We had mathematical intelligence. So we understood all those, plus the rhythmic, melodious, the rhythmic movement of our body, melodious sound of our voice. All of those things intertwined and linked in together created a beautiful Black culture. We were hijacked from that. We were ripped from that and placed into a culture where we were attempted to be colonized. They wanted to whitewash us to a certain degree. So everything was, they created it, and we did not. That's not the case. You know, the iron that we use. That's why I love February, Black History Month, because you get a chance to kind of start digging into, wait a minute. So you mean Black people created that? The iron that we use, a Black person created that. I think it was a Black man. The stoplights that we stop at, Black people did that. You see what I mean? The different hair products and all that. Black people did that, so we were always within that. But if you think about it now, when a black cat crosses in front of you, what does that mean? Bad luck, right? Maybe I don't know. Yeah, see, that's bad luck. Everything that is like scary happens in the black or in dark. So the darker it gets, the scarier it is. If you're talking about vampires and all, well, they wear black. The Wicked Witch was black. If you're the child in the family that is not the golden child, then you're considered the black sheep. Whenever Jesus sheds his blood, then it's to wash our black souls. So everything black, bad. Wilson said this the other day. When it freezes over and your car slides on the road, or you're sliding and getting in accidents because of black ice. I mean, everything's black, but you're dreaming of a white Christmas. You see what I'm saying? Or the angels appear as white beings against the dark being called the devil. And going back to the trolls, their color was black. Every other musical genre had colorful movements and moments on them, except for the black trolls, who were the hard rockers. They were black, and they were the ones who were technically the mean and loud ones throughout the whole thing. So then, systemically, we were kind of taught, if it's black, is wrong. If it's white, is right. The only thing that black folk got, going for them, as it were, being good, Bishop Benjamin kind of helped bring that to the front, is living in the black. So we're talking about money. If I'm in the black, is good. If I'm in the red, is bad. That's the only thing for black people, or the color black. So then, if I'm associating that subliminally with my color, because everything black is wrong, and they call us black people, then what's that say? That says that we are wrong. but we're not wrong. We're absolutely right. And I think that with you all even having the thought, maybe I need to pull back, maybe I need to tone down, maybe this is the better way, and that's the right way. And I'm gonna throw this at you, and then just let you kind of comment. I abhor. I don't like to use the word hate. I abhor when I hear things such as "you're talking white," especially when you're using correct English. Oh, you want to light my fire? Let me hear you say that. Talk about that a little bit.
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, so just this whole idea about white being right, black being wrong, and then I kind of ended it with, if you talk with proper English, you're talking white.
Well, the white and black thing, I look at it as like, from a spiritual thing, because God is always white and the devil is black. I look at it as that. I don't see it as like how you were saying it. I just think that most people, it started from, Christians saying, God is white and holy and the devil is black, and I think that's where that came from. And the thing about talking white is I dislike, like he said, I don't like when people say that, because we speak English. I mean, people might sound different, but at the end of the day, it's just English. So like, if a black dude is talking like professional, like no black dude is gonna want to go to a job interview like speaking like slang and stuff, or speaking like not in a professional way. Or like, if you like trying to do something good, like run for president, run for government, you're not going to want to speak like someone who's ignorant. You're going to want to speak highly and professional. So I don't know why people say when you talk like you're white. I just say that you're talking like professional or like a businessman.
Those comments, highly aggravate me as well. I've heard them multiple times. I've been told from white people that they're black, they act blacker than me. And then I'm like, okay, well, how's a black person supposed to act? And so it's hard. And then even with the black is wrong and white is right, that kind of has, well, when you said that, I thought of, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like this experiment they did like a long time ago, I guess, but it's on YouTube, and they asked like black children and white children to pick, like they would ask questions, like it was a bunch of pictures of different kids, and it was different shades, like from white to African American, and they would ask, well, which kid's the bad kid? And then both black and white children would pick the black one, and then, well, which kid's the prettier one or the nicer one? And they would pick the white one. And I feel like with the black is wrong, white is right, that's ingrained in us from even when we were little, because I remember in my experience, when the American Girl doll store opened in Charlotte, my mom wanted to get me one. And so we went to pick one out. And I don't remember how old I was, but I really wanted the light-skinned, straight-haired one. I was like, that doesn't look anything like you. And I was like, well, that's the one that I want. And she was like, if you're not getting the one that looks like you, then you're just not getting one. And so even with that experience, it's just like, that was really, like, I didn't realize it at the time, but that was kind of like self-hatred a little bit. Well, maybe not, that's a little extreme, but just like not appreciating my black skin because of like the systemic racism that's ingrained in us.
Wow. Yeah, I can hear Bishop Omika saying that right now. Bless her heart. That is Militant Soul Sister number 13. Z?
Well, with the black is wrong and the white right thing, it's kind of, I wanted to try to do something, to do something with my time. So like I wanted to learn how to do makeup, go on live, and it was one girl, and she was Caucasian, and she was like, to enhance my eyes, I'm gonna do black eyeshadow, and I was like, well, to enhance your eyes, you got to use black eyeshadow. I don't, like, if you want to enhance yourself, you got to use black stuff. Like, you got to use black eyeliner, black mascara to make your eyelashes longer, or black eyeshadow to make your eyes pop and stuff like that. So if you say black is wrong, that's kind of like, it's kind of like, what? Because you use black stuff on your face to make it look great, but you don't think, black is wrong. So like, when people say that, I just be like, if it ain't black, it's whack. So I mean, I don't understand that, because you use black stuff on your face to make it look better. So the thing about, what was the other question?
I mean, you're kind of answering it.
I'm sorry.
No. You're kind of answering it. It's kind of
that question. I just remember that question.
Right, but it's more. It's about how you feel about that whole contrast and thought about everything black wrong, everything white right.
Okay. And the thing about I remember the question. The thing about with people talking black or talking white, you can't talk a color. That's like my whole thing. Like when people say you talk white, and I'm saying you can't really talk color, and especially we both talking English. Like just because my lips are grabbing because I'm talking, like as soon as I'm done talking, I'm saying period after every sentence. Don't mean I'm talking black, because that's how we're perceived. Like we're ghetto and stuff. So like when people say you're talking white, it's like you're saying okay, or yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, or you're thoroughly saying every word, or talking slow or stuff like that. So it's like being professional is being white, and I don't really think that's true, because you cannot talk a color, especially when y'all both are talking the same language.
So you said you cannot talk a color. That's interesting. I never thought about that. So you can't talk black, you can't talk white, you can't talk orange, because I mean, how many other colors out there? You can't talk green. you're speaking English. Or here's another thing that gets me, and then I'm going to let you guys kind of minister to the people. They'll say something along the lines of, "That's an intelligent black man," or "an intelligent black woman," and I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit petty. I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit hypersensitive. That's possible. You high schoolers help me out, but I'm thinking, no, that's just an intelligent man. Why do you have to ascribe black there? That's just an intelligent woman. Why are you putting black there? Intelligence is intelligence. Period. Point blank. And no one owns intelligence. Now, as you all spoke, they did try to keep it from us. They did try to keep it from us. But if you think about it, and I know Destiny has probably done great research with this, and I'm sure that Zion and DJ have probably been exposed to it. When they wouldn't let us read, we figured out ways to get our point across, to think through situations. I mean, really think about it. When we couldn't, quote unquote, use proper English to explain a certain thing, well, what do? We came up with rhythm and rhyme and songs and words that meant something else. If for nothing else, we came up with a completely different language so that those who were enslaving us couldn't understand. We were talking about, it's time for us to go. Meet, let's go down by the river. We're singing songs and they're clapping with us because it's rhythmic, but we're really saying, all right, tonight we out. We're leaving tonight. But if we would have said we're leaving tonight, them who had the English held away from us would have known what we were talking, but we used creativity and ingenuity in order to figure out ways to communicate to one another and get out. See, I believe that oppression, I try to find the good in everything, right? So I believe that oppression gave us another push, if you will, to come up with other ways to be creative and to use ingenuity. So in saying that, last question I'm gonna have for you, then I'm gonna let you minister to the people. Have you ever felt like you were oppressed in any kind of situation, not necessarily a white-black deal, but out of that oppression, creativity came? And if so, what did you create? Ingenuity kicked in, and if so, how did you kind of work around it?
Okay. With me, a time I like school, for example. You know, I don't like to study. So like if I have a big test coming up, or I have to study for something, or there's something big coming up, I like rhythm, I like music, I like to beat on stuff. So like, I would just come up, like if I have a test, I'll like get flashcards and like I'll just like make a beat or like start rhyming just to like remember that, just to help remember. So my way of like facing oppression with school, it's like if I have something coming up, I'll use rhythm or I use like a beat or a rap or something just to like, that helps me like get through it, and it just helps me. That what helps me.
This question, oh, sorry, Zion, but this question kind of, I don't know how I should answer it, but I'm trying not to think of an example like that's not just white, black, but I guess a combination of everything that I've experienced in my life that kind of pushed me to create my blog, of course, highlighting our experiences, both challenges and successes. And then I guess non-race related when I was younger. Whenever I felt like I just wanted to make money, I've like like you see your parents being these business people and doing all these things, so I wanted to do it too. So that pushed me. I created like a business when I was younger called Destiny's Odd Jobs, and I would make money through that. So that wasn't necessarily oppression, but just experiencing, I don't know, like lack of money, seeing someone with something that you don't have, so you create something or do something in order to work towards a particular goal.
Love it.
Well, kind of piggybacking off of both DJ and Destiny. When DJ said he has a test, he does these flashcards. Like, I begged my mom and my daddy to stop me by the dollar store to get me like these big packs of flashcards for me to write, each vocabulary word down for me to study. Or like I'll make an analogy to each thing so I could, help remember it. Or I'll make a poem so I could remember, that stuff. And with Destiny saying with the work ethic, like I'm always talking to my mama about me getting a job because, I always want my own money. That's how I kind of think because, but my mom was like, you don't actually need a job because, your parents provide for you. But like with me, it's just like, I think I just want my own money. Like, I just want to feel responsible about my own money or like just controlling my own money. So, and that's kind of the thing with Black people. Like we have like a driving work ethic. Like once you put your mind to something, you gonna make it. It's whether you see it through or not. Whether you think it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So like that's kind of a good thing about us Black people. Like no matter what happens, we're gonna make sure it's something. We're gonna make sure something comes through with the plan that we want. So it's like take off of both ways.
I believe that. I definitely believe that. And your mom was right. And I'm sure all of you all's parents feel the same way. As long as you are the age you are, you don't have to worry about money. We got you. Just don't forget us when you start making money in Jesus' name. You got to pay us back for some of that stuff that we did. But man, as long as you have it, as long as you have us, you need absolutely nothing. And just on a slightly more lighter note, yet funnier note, when you make money, it still ain't your money. It's still our money. It's still my money. And we'll just let you know how much of that money I kid halfway kid. So here's what I want to do. And Z, you could probably kind of just get out of that and just come around here and do your last part. What we do this every time. I give you guys about a minute or so at the back end of our broadcast for you to minister to your age group. There's some high schoolers out there that may be suffering from whatever. I mean, who knows what they're dealing with. And it could literally be something that we spoke about today or something that we've talked about in our past broadcast. Or it could be something that's just kind of on your mind, like right now, something that's on your heart that you'd like to share with a young lady, a young man that is your age, who's sheltered in place, who may be having to deal with high school pressures, or they're high schoolers, but they really don't understand spirituality or have questions about spirituality. I want you to take a minute and speak directly to your age group. And next week, well, I'll tell you what we'll talk about next week when after you minister. So we'll start with you, DJ, and then we'll go to Zion. I'll just put her in the front, and then we'll go to you, Destiny, and then I'll come back. Wait a minute, who did we end with last week? Did we end with you last week, Destiny? Okay, so then we'll reverse it. We'll reverse it. So we'll start with you, Destiny, then we'll go to DJ, then we'll go to Zion.
So my advice to a high schooler is to just be yourself. And I know that's something that everyone tells you, but it really is important to be yourself and to be confident in what you look like and who you are in your race, your culture, whatever it is, because pretending to be something you're not is much harder than, just being who God created you to be. And coming from someone who it took a long time for me to accept, being Black and then being African American Christian girl, it saves you a lot of energy and just a lot of, I guess, heartbreak when you just are who God created you to be. So, yeah, my overall message is to just be yourself.
My message isn't just to high schoolers; it can be to anyone. My advice or my thing to say is like make sure that your faith is strong with God. Get your faith strong with God now, because as you can see, the world that we live in, like the world is not a great place. Like everyone's dying, diseases, riots, everything that you see that's going on. We really do need God right now, and it's going to be a point where he's going to come back. So make sure that you have him in your heart, and that you're hungry for God, and that God won't be able to say that you avoided him or you ignored him or you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So basically my message is like make sure that your faith is strong with God right now, because now we need God more than we ever needed
him. A message that I want to say to high schoolers is to always make sure that, just like Destiny said, be yourself. And, the more pressure a rock gets is like how a diamond is formed. So how the more pressure you're under is the outcome that you'll get. So the more pressure you receive is like the beautiful the result will be. So, you just have to learn how to manage the pressure, and just like Disney said, just be yourself, because high school is a different ball game for anybody. So just learn to be yourself, pray, and just trust in God.
All right. Well, I'm here with this beauty and the beauty right next to me and the handsome young man right up under me. These are some brilliant young people. I don't know if you've seen their brilliance throughout each one of our sessions, but they are brilliant and beautiful. So here's what we're going to do. Next week, we're going to talk about, there was a lady that began to talk in terms of a bit of self-hate. I think her name was Candace. I can't remember her name totally. And so we're going to have a conversation about, Candace. And I'm sure y'all have heard it. Y'all are internet savvy, so I'm sure it's already played on Twitter or whatever. So you've listened to it. I'd like to get your thoughts and your perspectives based upon that, because there's a high school person that has watched it, listened to it. And if they're African American, they may have had their thoughts swayed based upon what she ended up saying. So I want you to kind of minister to that on next week. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend on Friday, it is Quarantine Quagmire for Singles at 7 p.m. and then Date Night and Discussion at 8:30 p.m. For Married and Engaged at 8:30, for Singles at 7. If you're interested, inbox me. We'll shoot to the link. Saturday morning at 10 a.m. is The Poor for Spiritual Sons and Daughters. And then Sunday morning, we're at it at the Sword of Truth. Got faith? That's going to be the topic. I think we're on now part 6 of that particular lesson, and it's been blessing us thus far. This is Zion Trinice Brown. That's my daughter, and my wife had a little something to do with it. Next to me is Destiny. I don't remember your middle name. Yeah, you probably don't want to. Destiny Gabrielle Benjamin. She is the daughter of Marcus and Omika Benjamin. And right underneath me is the Reverend Dr. DJ. Somebody said, drop the mic, DJ. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to pop it up there. But yeah, and he is the son of Dexter and Tawana McCrae. These are some awesome young people. You need to look them up. You need to find them, because I promise you, following them and having your young people follow them they will become better just listening to their perspective and their understanding. They're still young. They don't try to act old, as it were. So they're not hating their youth. They're still, into all of the other stuff that they're in. Did we ever talk about music? So we got to deal with their music as well. I'm coming back at that music topic. I'm coming forward in Jesus' name. So it's going to be Candace and music next week. So if your kids are involved in any of those kind of things, you're going to want to tune in next week. That's what, Tuesday? No, today is Wednesday. Wednesdays at 12 noon on this platform. God bless. And we'll see you next Wednesday with high school shelter in place and spirituality. Destiny and DJ, you guys kind of stay on until we end the broadcast.